Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. Today we're going to keep having a look at the drone. There's a couple of little things I'd like to do, but let's in the meantime have a look at what the drone actually does for now. So basically, that's not kinda right. So our drone is going up, dropping down to scan, going back up again, heading back, and dropping down. Okay. So there's a couple of things we need to do here. There was an issue with it taking off. And I'm guessing what we should do here is actually change that to 3 and that to 2. Right, now this is just procrastinating a bit, I would say. And what we need to do from here is we actually want our drone to go back to its original rotation right at this point here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do another task. So we're going to duplicate that. Hey Passer, how are you today? So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate to origin. Okay. That's going to go here, except we can't drag that in. So we're going to say rotate to origin, and we probably don't need this, but we do need landing rotation. Okay, so what we're going to do is in our variables we're going to say landing rotation, and it's going to be a key selector. Right, and we're not going to do that. And alright, what's the problem, Passer? Just feeling under the weather or something specific? Either way, I hope you're feeling better soon. Right, so if we go back to our BP drone, right, what we'll do is we're going to create a new custom event. And we shall call it rotate for landing. Okay, and we're going to do a timeline. We're going to play from start. Right, so in the timeline, it's going to be TL rotate. And it is going to be 2 seconds, so we shall change this to 2 and the time to 2. Then we shall get the scale sorted out and save that. Back to our event graph. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of past the age for that type of thing now. I think if I ran about half a mile, I would drop dead. Although, having said that, I'm not. I look like a very, very fit person, but I'm not. I don't think there's an ounce of fat on me. Right, so what we're doing is we're moving from one rotation to another. So we're going to get a reference to self anyway, because it keeps things tidy. And then we're going to do a lerp, and it's going to be rotator. Then we're going to take our time, and then get rotation. So we're going to go from our current rotation to our landing rotation. Okay, and that's going to give us our rotator out. So we can do that. And we'll put that to the top. Actually, that's the wrong way around. Right, it's just a matter of moving both of these up. Right, so that's that. Then we'll do another one of these just to be tidy. And then what we shall do is set rotation. We'll stick that there. Stick that there. Update that. Do that. That looks good to me. We know this is a 2-second job, so basically if we go back into our AI, so basically what we do is we come across here and we stick in another weight. That's going to be 2.5. That's going to be cool. We're not going to wait for that long with this one. We're going to wait 3 seconds. Hey, the fried movies, how you doing, bud? How are you this Friday afternoon? Fine, Friday afternoon. Right, so here we go. Let's see how our drone reacts to this. Where did I learn this from? Hard work and perseverance. Tutorials, hard work, reading, perseverance, trial and error. Right, so if we continue, right, we can now check our little drone again. So once we pick a target there, rotor start, zips up, zips across, drops down to scan, does its scanning, which we're going to do shortly, zips back up again, turns around and zooms across. Then it's going to hopefully straighten up. Straighten up, please. Oh, we didn't call it. 6 months will probably be around a difficult time for you because you're beginning to get some of the things, but you're not quite understanding how it all ties together. Like tying together characters plus behavior trees plus animation blueprints. So you're at a kind of crossroads, but you need to stick at it, right? Because if you push through, it'll all start clicking, okay? Now, what we didn't do there was we didn't set this, right? Because we're silly. Not that we actually need to set any of these. And again, as I said last night, we are going to tidy all this up later. Famous last words. So we call this, but we didn't call it. Okay? Yeah, you've just got to stick in there, fried movies. There's no easy answer. There's no like shortcut that you can take. Right, so we rotate for landing. And then we plug this in here. Right? And now, if we continue, right, we'll look at that again. So our rotor start up, then we lift up, this is the fly height, then it will drop down to scan height, then it's going to do something special there. It keeps things, once you know what you're doing, it kind of keeps things simple, but you can do things within the behavior that relates to behavior, right? So you set up tasks and services in the behavior tree so that all of the, like, oh, it did. So it straightened up again, you'll notice, right? Even though I was talking to you and I missed that. Right? But you can keep all like the AI behavior within the behavior tree. Right? So like you can have all different types of behavior. So you can have a status, let's say for a worker. If they're hungry, if they're walking to the thing, if they're doing this, if they're doing that. And basically you can set what path they can go down and what behaviors they'll follow. Right? Now, this is just me using a behavior tree for the sake of using a behavior tree because there is no decision making in this tree. Right? It basically just works on the status and works left to right. Okay? Now, a behavior tree works from left to right anyway, but I'm forcing it to work from left to right. But what you could do here is you can check out if you're hungry, and then you can basically have all your sort of things that come off hunger, right? And then you can have a task that updates whether you're hungry or not. And then if you're not hungry, it'll jump back to another position in the tree that says, okay, go and look for work. And then if you do that, you can follow another path in the tree that basically handles all the stuff if your player's working, or if your NPC or your AI character is working, right? So it just basically handles all of that for you. And once you actually know what you're doing, you've got a blackboard and you've got a behavior tree and a blackboard, right? And the way this fits together is this blackboard stores all the variables that you're going to use within your behavior tree, right? So it's just it's just Unreal Engine's way of compartmentalizing like AI, right? So everything is within the tree, right? So you can see from my drone, right, that basically if we watch the behavior tree, right, you'll see what actually happens, right? So if I give it a target, right, you'll see that it's moving down this branch, then it moves to this branch. Now it's on this thing here called waiting, and then it's going to do this, and it moves to here, right? Then it'll do this and jump to here. Now, there's ways that you can make it jump down one branch or down the next branch, or how it actually reacts to certain things. If you tie this into like perception, then you can set this to be tied together with like if the monster sees you, then it so you could have, like, let's say you had a monster, right, and it had 3 different statuses. One was wander around, one was sleep, and one was attack the player, right? So what you'd have was a selector here, and then you'd have 3 branches coming down for each, or 1 for each, right? And then basically, if it was set to wander, you would have something like this in a sequence. It would pick a new place to walk to, it would walk to there, it would wait for a half a minute, then it would return and do it again, as long as this was set to wander. Whereas sleep would basically mean lie down and wait there until you wake up, right? And then your last one was player perceived, and then it would basically move to player, attack the player, blah blah blah. And that's how it works in a very rough example, okay? So in this case, you'll see, actually what I'll do is, you'll notice that this has a red mark on it, and that means that this has target is not set, okay? So it's not going to do this. It's not going to do this until this value is set to true. Okay, so it's just going to sit there and do nothing until this value changes to true. Okay, now when I select a target, I set this blackboard key or variable to say that it has got a target, right? And then boom, you'll notice straight away it's diving down here. Okay? And you'll see it doing its thing. It'll drop down. It'll lift back up again in a minute. It will zoom back, and then it will drop down, turn, and drop down. Okay? And there you go. And then because this last part basically sets the has target to false again, then now we are back here. Okay? And it's basically gated so that we can't go through there until no. Okay, let's do a little experiment and see how. Right, whoever's new to this and is watching at the moment is probably going to be quite blown away by this. But in me, ah, damn it, I can't play. Can I play? Because I've changed the way that this works, we're kind of screwed. Right, I'm going to have to change something and basically turn the drone off. Right? Because originally this wasn't the way it worked. But I can change it back quickly for you guys, right? So let's do that. And where is it again? It's in the grid. Okay, let's have a look here. It's not in there. So what we've got to do is we've got to do that. Then we've got to do that. And then this is where it sets it all. And instead of doing that, we do that. Okay? Right, so this, now the drone is not going to do anything. We're going to start a new game. HHWW. Couple of months. Right, so what we can do is we're going to launch probes. You'll notice how this is completely different. Right, and there's something not working here. Right, we've kind of ballsed this up. Ah, okay, right, so we need to get this in here, save that, play that, we continue, we'll do our probe again, right? Now what this does is it's the simulation. Now you'll see in a minute what we're doing, right? And I've completely screwed this up. Because this guy should move to here. Right, so there's something else I've changed here. I don't know what, but there's something. That's okay. That's okay. And that's okay. Right, I'm just wondering. Right, okay, let's try another way of showing you. Do we have any save games that are going to work? Kinda. Right. So what that does is it builds a mine, okay? Yeah, it's because of the resolution I use. I'm using a 4K monitor. Right, but anyway, let's have a look at this, right? So what you can do is you can select like what you're going to make. It's basically like Factorial and Satisfactory with a bit of Surviving Mars and a bit of, hey Q, how you doing, mate? Right, so what we're going to do is, this shouldn't affect this. Right, so we can build a, not that. We can build a conveyor belt. And we can build another one, joining up this. Right. And then we can add this to the warehouse. And you'll see now that we're making lovely products. And our smokestack is going, which means we're making stuff. This is going in here, and then this is making steel. Right, and then the steel is going to move around here and go into our warehouse, which is basically our inventory. And from there, we can then, when the spaceship lands, we can trade with the spaceship for resources and workers. Okay, now we also have a research tree. So you can research these things, and you can also build a research lab to research the research things. Okay, so if close that. So if you want to like sell stuff to the ship, you can hit 5, and like this is sell, so I can sell these things. If I want to buy, I can buy these things. Right. We also now have steel in here. But this save game isn't going to really show you much. But this is all working. The conveyor belts work. We've also got like splitters and combiners, so like you can put down like a combiner and you can spin it around, and then these obviously go in, and then this one comes out, and then there's also the other one, which is the splitter, which basically takes one in and then you can split it to 3 out. Right, so your input comes in here, and then you can actually join these up and shit like that. So yeah, there's all that stuff. And then, if it's in this game, not too sure. This was a little bit of work I done on defences. So basically, you can build defences, and then like a gun will come out and shit like that. And then you can, so that's when it basically, you know, the baddies aren't attacking you, right? So there we go. We'll not worry about those errors, because that was another build. So there might be stuff that wasn't saved the way we want it to be saved now. So anyway, there you go. Overview of game. So you research all the different stuff, you make different products go into different, more complex products, which go into more complex products. Then you've got to make the right research to research things, and then you can research the speed of things, like your conveyor belts go faster, your research goes faster, your smelting goes faster, your refining goes faster, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff. And all of that works. But we are now working on the drone, which is now our preferred method for scanning an area for minerals, okay? So, if we go back to our grid and we take this back off, then I've just realized this is a bit of a bummer now, because so we're getting all actors of class. And that's doing the launch proby thing. Then it's so basically what we want to do here is plug this in here for now. Okay, so we've done that, and our probe will now work, although it's actually not going to probe anything, right? But what we want to do, right, this was one of the things that I wanted to do, right, because it's a bit sneaky, right? So, and I'm going to show you what I mean by it's a bit sneaky, right? So we have our drone, right, and we have a spotlight on it, and what I want to do is I want the spotlight to go down like that, right? But I kind of don't. What I actually want to do is I want to block out a certain portion of it, right? So what I actually want to do with this spotlight is we've got an attenuation radius of 1000, okay? So let's change that to 500 as a start. Our outer cone is going to be half that at 22, right? So that's good so far. Now, what we want, right, okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring one of these into the world, right? This is just my crazy ideas of how to do a certain thing because I can't be bothered doing materials. Because I know this should be done with material, but until we get that material working, we need a workaround. And I think this is a pretty good workaround, right? And it might just work. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to bring in our drone, into the world, right? Like so. Now you'll notice, right, that, well, number one, if we put it at our scan height, right, this is basically what we want it to do. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to do that, right? And then I'm going to change the color to like a blue, or what do you reckon, guys? Blue? Right, we'll okay that. Then we'll press play. Now our light is doing absolutely jack shit. We'll stop that just now. Now, is this because we've not got it intense enough? I think it is actually. Right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at that. Now you can see that there is a light there, okay? Yeah, I know it is. It's actually good from a distance, but it's because it's spread over such a huge area. What I could do is, I'm pretty sure that's a plane there, right? So we could make it that, right? And that's probably going to look a bit better. It's still not ideal. It's just for it. It isn't anything. It's just for a background, right? It's not supposed to be in the game. It won't be in the game. It's just a matter of showing it, right? But my point is this, right? We click on the drone, right? And we go back to Spotlight. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this at all, to be fair. But my idea is quite simple, right? We're going to delete this. Okay, we're not going to delete that. Are you going to delete or what? Apparently, or what? Right. Thank you. I did that. No, it's 300 by 300. Yeah, the plan would be to inevitably sell it on Steam. I've already got another game on Steam. If you check in my description, you'll see a link to it. Right, so we have our Spotlight here, right? And it's basically sticking right out, which is kind of what we want at this particular point, right? But we don't actually want it to do that. What we actually want it to do is, now this might be, I don't think it really matters how I do this, right? But we're just going to do a bit of complete and utter nonsense, right? Now, this isn't going to be the final result, guys, okay? This is not going to be the final result. So don't shoot me just yet. Okay? But what we're going to do, just for a laugh, to see if it actually works, is we're going to kind of create an opening, an aperture for the light to go through, right? Which I would imagine we're going to do it there, right? And then we're going to duplicate that, and then we're going to drag it to here. Then we're going to duplicate that. Right, I know guys, this is completely insane, but insane's good sometimes. As I said, this is just a stopgap remedy just to see how it would look in the grand scheme of things. Right, so in theory, we're going to have to move all of them up the way a bit. And I don't think that's what I wanted to do. Right, so right, these are already at an angle apparently. Let's go Z5. Right, what I'm going to do is, since that didn't work very well, but yeah, apparently none of that light's getting through. But having said that, right, we'll do this a slightly different way, right? Bear with me on this, guys. Bear with me. What we're going to do is we're going to reset everything. Okay. And we're going to delete that. Well, I shouldn't have really done that, but hey ho. Right, so is that the way a spotlight comes in? Is that direction it comes in at? Let's do spotlight. Add a component. Spotlight. Yeah, it is. Right, okay, whatever. Right. So let's hide this for the moment. Sure, ask away. Ask away, Fried, I'll help you if I can. Right, so we're looking at this side on, right? So if we add plane, and what we're going to do here, we're going to spin it 90 degrees on the Y, I believe. Indeed we are. Right. And maybe the best way to do this is left. So there's our light, okay? Now, if we duplicate that, and then we move it down, I'll try and zoom in as much as I can here for you guys. Right. And now what we want is another plane. And then this plane I'm trying to use the Unreal cable system to link two objects together and get everything perfectly on. Probably the cable looks fine against the terrain. Well, it would sound to me like obviously that's your back face culling. Basically. So if we have that like 3 by 3, and look at that, you can see where the actual light is bouncing off it, which is kind of the effect that I want, to be honest. If I drop that down a bit, that is kind of perfect. Apart from one thing. It's kind of not. Right, let's change this to snap size of 5. It would be hard to give you an actual answer to that without actually seeing it, to be fair. right? So what we could do is do that. Now our spotlight, yeah, I mean, I'm maybe not going to be able to tell you the perfect answer, but I will tell you what I think's going on, which is basically all I can do, to be fair. Right, so we're going to change this out cone. We might actually make it 44. Yeah, that would work. We're going to do our light colour is going to be blue. Yeah, you've got to check these things anyway. You've got to check your settings. Right, and we're going to change this to 250123 just for a laugh. Oh, that's a bit bright. But we like it. And the interesting thing now is, if we save that, right, and we go back to our mesh, no worries, mate, I'm glad you got it fixed. And we should now be able to move our spotlight back here, right, and to the front of the ship. I'm just wondering how this is going to look, right, because it might look like complete pants, or it might actually work. Oh yeah, what we've got to do is we've got to select these planes and then hidden in game. Save. Right, and then we're going to have to delete that. Then we're going to have to drag it in again with our new setup. Then we set it to 250 height. Right, and if we point it down the way, oh, it so nearly works. I don't know, mate. I'm just working on it. We'll just see where we end up, basically. No, it was part of a pack, and a free pack on Unreal Engine. But that nearly works. That actually nearly works as a plan. And for some reason, YouTube has started playing a video. And I don't know why. Now you guys probably couldn't hear that, but I could. Right, so let's do wacky weird stuff. And let's change this to 1. Then let's look at this from the front. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too good at this. This is fundamentally me trying to fabricate a beam of light, right? By doing stupid shit. This should be done with a material, right? Which I know I'm going to do anyway, but it's just to get something that kind of looks okay to start with. And if it does, then fine. I mean, that's going to have to be at 250. Right, and now at 250, either A, it's not intense enough, or B, yeah, it's the length isn't long enough for the, right, and what we need here is we need this to be like 750 probably. So there you go. I mean, if I wonder, right, let's wonder about this. If I point it more, I mean, in fairness, it actually kind of nearly works. I mean, I'm not going to turn the drone to that angle, right? But I can turn the light and these to that angle. Yeah? What I mean by that is, right, if I delete this, I'll show you what I mean. Right, if I now go back to perspective mode, right? And as I said, we're just basically pissing around here, right? If I click on the spotlight, right? And then basically I spin that down like so. Save that, right? And then we drag in. Then we go to 250. It kinda nearly works. That should be 250 right enough, right? Okay, I think I'm going to have to work offline on the material to get this looking properly. What it should be doing is a scan line, you know? But anyway, right. We're on top of the hour and it's time for me to grab a quick cigarette. So I shall be literally 2.5 minutes and I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Okay guys, we're back and ready to go with this. I'm going to leave it like that, right, for the moment. And actually what we'll do, right, now this is going to be something that we end up doing anyway, is we shall basically visible equals false to start with. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to visible when we start scanning, okay? So if we go back to our AI and we drop to scan, yeah, sure, right, okay, quite simply, the drone has an enum, right, with all its different statuses, right? So it's waiting, or taking off, traveling to target, reach the target, drop to scan, scanning, rise from scan, returning home, landing. At which point it moves back to waiting, okay? Now the logic in the behavior tree follows that path, right? It checks the east. Well, first of all, it checks it's got a target. If it hasn't got a target, it does not jump into here. If it has got a target, it checks the status, right? So it comes to the status, and this is the first one, waiting. So if it's waiting, it starts the motors, waits, then sets to take off, which pushes it into here. So it takes off, which basically makes it get a next location. Then it waits a second, then it moves to that location. It waits again, then sets it to the next target. The next target basically rotates to face the entry. It actually turns to face the target, moves to the target, waits, and then gets ready to drop to scan. In the drop to scan, it moves to the scan point, which is just basically dropping on the Z, right, and then sets to scanning. Now the interesting thing here is we actually need to change this set to scanning, right, and all we need to do for this, right, is get the spotlight and then set visible equal to true. Okay. So basically we drop down to scan, and then we switch on our scanner, right? Now this at the moment is just a spotlight, but this logic will work for whatever, if I switch on a material or something, okay? And then if we go back to our drone, when we rise from scan, we basically do the same thing again, right? Except we set the visibility to false. Visibility, oops, that's spotlight, right? So we drag that into there, pop that to there, drag that in. Now, the thing is, fried movies, you don't need to do this in a behavior tree. You could do it as a set of functions, right? Custom events, whatever you like, and just follow that. I just wanted to do it in the behavior tree because I hadn't done any behavior trees in a while, right? And that's it. So, yeah. So basically now what's going to happen is we're going to remove this drone, right? And we're going to start the game again. And where's our freaking drone? What the heck? Right, we'll refresh nodes on that. We'll save it. So kind of weird shit's happening. Right, player base, execute, set landing rotation. So it would appear to me that it's not spawning the drone. Right, stop that just now. I'm guessing that this here is going to fail. When we come out here, this is going to be nothing. It's not nothing. It didn't like that though. What's going on? Right. Yeah, it looks like this is nothing. Even though it's not. Even though it's lying to us. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do spawn actor from class again, right? And drone. Right, and we're splitting that. And we're splitting that. I'm still not convinced this is going to work. I don't know what screwed this up. Obviously, right, and that's going to be 100. Then that's going to go in there. We're going to delete that. And I don't know why this is broken. I don't know why it's went pear-shaped. However, it is quite worrying. Oh, I've got sticky mouse again. Right, and what we're going to do here is we're going to delete that. It's quite funny that Call of Duty get emails to Call of Duty, considering I've never played Call of Duty in about 5 years. Not that I was any good at it anyway, but I was never an FPS guy. Right, so we've reset this up. So we're going to dismiss that and dismiss that. And where's our frickin' drone? Have I set this? Right, wait a minute. No, it failed. What's going on? I know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what's going on. No collision. Save. It wasn't spawning, it was there we go. Right. So now we switched. Oh god. This is all your fault, Fried Movies. We broke all our code because of you. Back to grid. Right, this goes into here. No, it doesn't. Right, so it appears we are not. Oh yeah, right, okay, whatever. It's destroying them all. Right, so there's that. Save that. Yeah, we basically created the grid and then deleted the whole grid again, because that's what you want to do. Or maybe not. Where's my probes? My probes have disappeared into the ether. Right. Okay. Right, what have I done that screwed this up? What have I done? should be creating those. Why is it not creating the grid? I'm mystified. I am absolutely mystified here. This has thrown me right off. Right, so we're going to have a look at our controller to see what's going on here, because I'm mystified about what's going on here. Right, so if we left click, we're only doing that, right? Fine. Now the other thing is the main menu button, which is the probe button, obviously. It's not the main menu, it's the main game menu button. Right, so if we're coming in here and it's probe, then we're doing this. Okay, and so that's creating the BP probe grid. Now let's see that is actually happening. Yep. So if we resume that, we should have, like, there's grid 1, 12 and grid, yeah. I'm just wondering if this is weirdly drawing in the wrong place now for some reason. Apparently not. Right, tell you what we're going to do is we're going to go to the actual proper map. I'm always a bit wary about starting the game on a particular map. Even though it was working before. It's still not drawing that shit. Right, there's something gone dramatically wrong here. Right, what I'm going to do is we're going to start a new game. Right. Now it spawns a grid. But it's not drawing that anymore. Right, so what's going on? So I can only assume player base grid. We need to go to the probe grid, right, which was in the main menu button, right? And for some reason this could be a bit of a problem because this is actually done in C++. Has cursor moved XY, right? And then in the BP grid itself, we do that. We're doing all that. Right, plug this back into here. But I know for a fact there's something still not quite right about this. There's code change somewhere and I don't know where it is. Our grids are there, right? They're there. But they're not. So this grid position is minus 1,000, 1,000, right? minus 1,000, 1,000. So if we go to the map, minus 1,000, 1,000, right? So the point is, where is minus 1,000, 1,000? So if I go in here and we get a grid and we drop it in, it was minus 1,000 . Thousand. So it was round about there somewhere, right? So if I press play again, there's our grid piece, right? We can resume that. Now, if we look at this, it's apparently over here somewhere. Except it's not displayed. Okay, this means drastic measures, I'm afraid. Because we haven't changed anything regarding the grid. So basically sod that. Right, we're going to restart the thing. That seems like the only reasonable thing to do here, because something has went dramatically wrong. What that thing is, I don't know, but it's dramatic and it's wrong. We're going to call this grid because it's the grid and it's not working. It's going to take a second to start this time. There we go. Right. Where the fuck is it? What in the F has happened to my grid? Right, we're going to stop that. And this will take a second. Now, I am really freaked about that. Where is my grid gone? I mean, it is there. It is there, it's just not shown. Where in the crap is it? Well, guys, I am at a loss here. Ah, right, that's okay. We can do that. I am dumbfounded. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's grid. So it's doing that and then it's deleting that again. Now, that's only on clicked, right? So if we don't click on these, it's not going to do anything. Right, so we haven't done anything with that, really. And I'm completely lost now. Fried Movies has completely and utterly screwed up my shit. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think I know what it is. Are you still there, Fried Movies? Because if you are, you're not going to believe what the problem is that's causing all this. It's basically the size of this plane. I believe. Okay, maybe not. And this is where we've completely screwed it up, I think. Was this 1300? I believe it was 1200, but we'll go with that. And holy shit. Okay, well this is an issue. It's got to be said. That's getting the grid size. That's getting the grid size. But where do we set the grid size is the question. We're setting it to 1000. Okay. Right guys, if you've joined and you're watching, thank you for joining in. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to take this offline because things have went a little bit pear-shaped here, and I'm not too sure why. And I'm going to have to do a bit of investigating around here, which probably won't be very good viewing, and there'll probably be a lot of swearing going on, so we shall leave it at that. And we shall see you at 8 PM Central. So check out the description for joining Discord, Patreon, previous Steam games, and I shall see you again all very soon. Bye bye for now.